right. Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. Again, my name is Michael. Thank you for that intro. And I'm a product manager at Circle. I lead the teams at the company that are responsible for developing USDC, ERC, infrastructure, determining where we expand to, what's our strategy, and all that good stuff. So prior to joining the company, I worked at a few startups, a few public companies such as Facebook and Google. I've been based in San Francisco, so I love startups technology, and I'm really excited to be here at Meridian with you all. Before getting into it, I'm going to start with just, who is Circle? Like, what do we do? I know that Circle is a pretty well-known name out there in the industry, but figure it's just good to do a little recap. A bit of a background. So Circle is a global financial technology company. We're helping move money at internet speed. Our mission is to raise global economic prosperity through the frictionless exchange of value. So that should probably sound pretty familiar to you all, and also pretty similar to what Stellar is trying to achieve and why we love working with Stellar and why we're here today. So we've been around for quite a while now. So we were founded in 2013. And while we are most known for USDC, which is the largest US regulated dollar-backed stablecoin in the world, with a market of about 12 trillion transactions to date, we're also responsible for ERC. It's our Euro-backed stablecoin. And if you were here on day one, you know that we just launched integration with the Stellar ecosystem, which we're super excited about. And it's already being implemented in such great partners such as Ripio, and hopefully more to come. But that's a little bit of background. Taking a step back, why is USDC and ERC so critical to our mission around that frictionless exchange of value? So stablecoins, as you all know, are pretty key. They're one of the primary use cases or things that have been most used in the crypto ecosystem. They revolutionize the speed, cost, and accessibility of global finance. So they do this in three different ways. First, as that stable value. So both USDC and ERC can enable anybody save money that's aligned with US-based or Euro-based money. All that people need is a free wallet, a Stellar wallet, or no traditional bank account is required. The second is around how stablecoins enable fast and low-cost transactions and payments. So with both ERC and USDC on Stellar, payments can be made across the globe in fractions of a second and fractions of a cent. And then the third benefit is around being fully programmable. So what does that mean? Now that we can enable use cases such as potentially streaming payments, possibly sending micropayments, with both USDC and ERC, it's fully programmable. We have a bunch of APIs you can use to kind of customize how you use and facilitate transactions. This can increase that capital efficiency and also the velocity of economic activity. So we all think that these are the elements that come together to help businesses and their end users transact and access blockchain efficient financial services worldwide. So to recap, both USDC and ERC, it basically boils down to stability and efficiency. On the efficiency side, it's around stable value. It can be used internationally. It's inflation resistant, and it's familiar and user friendly. On the efficiency side, it's around that 24/7 instant settlement. That's what blockchain technology can do, and one of the benefits, fewer intermediaries, which contribute to that lower cost and that real-time functionality, traceability. So stepping back a little bit, you might be asking, like, why ERC? It's something that seems pretty intuitive, but there's a bunch of rationale behind it. Why is Circle interested in that? We have USDC already. It's already, billions of dollars worth of supply and whatnot. Why ERC? So Circle is committed to ERC adoption. It's a product that we launched just last year. It's only a little bit more than a year old. and it's still growing, and it might be smaller today, but we think it's a great opportunity and one that will be super important for the company and also for the world, like in the years to come. So euro is the second largest currency in the world, in the international monetary system, followed by the US dollar. Across a bunch of different indicators, it's around 20% in terms of share of global usage. And euro accounts for over 30% of SWIFT payments, 20% of foreign reserves. It's definitely a critical currency that's used in the fiat world today. We expect there to be additional use cases of this moving forward. So it makes sense to create a product and fulfill a need in the same way that USDC has done for US-backed stablecoins for euro. And while people forget, while USDC maybe today, multiple billions of dollars and whatnot. In the beginning, it was not like that. It was only a few $1 million. It takes time for these changes to happen. We think that ERC will follow a similar trajectory, and that's why we're investing in this today, and we'll continue to. So in addition to this, there's a few trends that I want to point out of why we think this is the right time or what we're excited about. And the first one is this speculation to a utility. If you all have been paying attention in the industry and also have been to a bunch of other conferences, you've probably heard this mantra a lot about moving from just trading to other use cases. But we do believe that this is happening. This is what I've seen. I was at Token 2049 a few weeks ago. But stablecoin usage, crypto use cases in general, we want to, and we are seeing shifts from just pure trading use cases, which is one of the primary ways that we see that being used today, to payments, to remittances, to B2B payouts, payroll, et cetera. These are all probably things you've been hearing at this conference today, and a lot of what Stellar has been focused on. That speculation, that movement from speculation to just utility use cases, that's what we're starting to see. So because of this, we think euro-based stablecoins will likely grow in those use cases and those things that people want to see, both from institutions and end users. And so along with that, we will see increased usage in DeFi, and there'll be increased usage in FX trading. But a lot of that focus, that's trend number one that we're seeing and why we're interested to hear. Okay, trend number two, around regulatory and incentives. So if you're in the session yesterday when we announced the ERC launch, Tina, one of our heads of policy and regulatory like compliance, she probably mentioned this, but the upcoming regulation around MiCA, with this coming in, I guess, the middle of next year or sometime in 2024, this provides that really clear regulatory framework of how stablecoins can operate. And so as a company, we are totally committed to becoming a fully MiCA regulated company. Along with this, there is the EU DOTO pilot regime, which makes it clear about how stablecoins can be transacted or used in country. And already we're seeing several countries that are paving the way for tokenized real world assets. So all of these are trends that are indicating that there's going to be regulatory clarity, and with that, easier paths and clearer ways that companies like Circle and others can operate in the space. And then the third and final trend is around that institutional adoption. So with both the clarity and also the movement towards from just pure speculation to utility kind of like applications, companies are increasingly experimenting and trying to figure out ways to implement these products and services. So EU-based institutions, we expect that there'll be a demand for euro-denominated stablecoin to help with facilitate the use cases they're building out. So that brings us to why Stellar? Why is Circle so interested? So Stellar, as mentioned before, is really closely aligned with our mission around increasing that global prosperity through the frictionless exchange of value. What's the tagline here for this whole conference is around where the blockchain meets the real world. And I think this has been a theme that has been emphasized a lot yesterday in a lot of the sessions, and today, we really believe in the core mission, and there's a lot of synergy between both of our companies. And we've already been partnering with Stellar around USDC. It just kind of makes sense to also extend that to ERC. So, one of the primary things amongst a lot of different benefits of using Stellar is around that use of anchors. So these are vetted kind of like a clear way that financial institutions kind of worldwide can provide a very clear way to on and off ramp, provide on and off ramp services. And so anchors hold and take care of the KYC and AML-like services, make it much more seamless experience for kind of like all the companies within the ecosystem. So, from both the mission and just how Stellar operates, how they're thinking thoughtfully about how they can really contribute to this. This is part of the reason why that we're excited to have launched the partnership yesterday, and we're excited to continue to work with Stellar. So a little bit on just how you can get ERC. So for institutions, Circle mainly works with institutional partners and customers. We can provide those institutional on and off ramps. They can sign up for Circle Mint, which is an account that these institutions can go and they can deposit and withdraw USDC. So you can use that to swap USDC and now ERC on supported blockchains, which now includes Stellar. And you can create automated deposits and withdrawals to kind of suit your needs. We have a bunch of APIs that these institutions can use to make this happen. And then for end users, how can you use it if you're not an institution? How you can get access to it? So ERC and USDC FX can be accessed on Stellar DEXs, the Stellar DEX, sorry, and accessible through other ecosystem partners such as Lobster. Ripio is one that we saw yesterday with their great demo, which was awesome to see. We've been working with them to set that up for the past few weeks. So really kudos, you guys did a great job. And coming soon to Mercado Bitcoin. And we're excited to see other potential use cases that we might see in the ecosystem, potentially, with a lot of the Stellar 8 or MoneyGram Access work. Great talk yesterday with the MoneyGram CEO and president. We're just really excited to see what the ecosystem can bring now that ERC is available. So a bit about on what's next. So as mentioned, the company Circle is really committed to ERC and growing that adoption. And one of the main ways is around expanding our banking partnerships. We want to further integrate ERC into the EU payment and banking system. That means finding additional banking partners that can provide additional support and make accessible much faster for you all and give many more options for our institutional partners. And then in licensing Amica, so like I mentioned, Tina, our colleague yesterday, was talking about this and how we fully intend to be fully compliant and follow through on becoming MiCA compliant next year. And our intention to be regulated as MiCA compliant e-money, token in the EU. We're really excited about that work. There's a bunch of stuff that needs to happen, but we're looking forward to that. And hopefully have more to share in the next coming months to going into next year. So thank you all. That was a quick overview. I think there's a lot of information there, but want to give plenty enough time for any Q&A questions you might have for us. If not, I'll be at the conference. I'll be in the corner over there in the back room, but excited to meet you all and talk ERC and Stellar. So thank you. Yes.
Well, I didn't plan this, so I didn't brief you on the question, but I was just thinking that considering the experience that Circle had with the USDC history, and especially the early days, how are you transferring that experience to the Euro coin in the sense of what use cases you think are going to catch up first, and maybe what you learned from the early days of USDC that could be applied to ERC, not on a regulatory stance necessarily, but more on the go-to-market perspective?
Yeah, great. Thanks. Great question. So I'll preface this and say that, this predates me. So I wasn't there when this happened, but When USDC was first created, I think what people tend to forget, it wasn't a given, right? Now it seems very obvious that stablecoins are this great use case and people are finding all this great utility. And again, now that it's grown to this much, it's, oh, of course, that should have happened. But, from what I understand, when it was first launched, it was a big risk. Nobody really knew what was going to happen. It was a brand new product. And how the company kind of navigated that go-to-market is that it's a little bit of preparation, a little bit of luck. I think in the beginning, one of the primary use cases that really took off and kind of established USDC was around DeFi. And DeFi was one of the key emerging use cases way back in, I don't know, like 2017 or whatnot. And so I think a part of it is just being prepared and listening and seeing, well, what's happening in the crypto market, what are the trends, and following that and seeing, where they go. So, DeFi was one of the key things that really catapulted USDC to, where it is today. But, we now see in some of the trends that we're talking about is that there's going to not just be DeFi use cases, but other use cases, remittance use cases, cross-border payments use cases. And so in that same way that, hey, we have a pretty strong intuition, here's where we think we're going to be seeing that increase use cases. Hey, let's try to encourage that. Let's try to be prepared and ready in places where we see some of the strong potentials. We always have to adjust and be there, but at least in coming up in one of the ways that made USDC really take off was around DeFi. And now we're trying to see, well, okay, what are those other trends and what are the next area of growth for the product and company? I think at the time, those were the ones that, really helped. And, they still continue to be, very key, partners. We speak with them and there's still a lot of use cases around that. And we'll continue to see that, I think, moving forward. But we want to expand like additional use cases. And again, that's why the focus on like Stellar and seeing how it can help with those remittances. That's one of the key things that we're excited about. And we really want to see and how the next couple of months to years go. Yes, in the back.
Thanks for a good presentation, Mike. I have a question on the back end, on the tail end of the banking crisis in March and the very, very high profits lodged by Circle and to some respect also to Tether. It seems like there's kind of like an asymmetry in how the party is going on right now. So Circle and Tether is like harvesting very, very high yields on the risk of the users, the protocols, the companies using your currency. Does Circle have a plan on kind of like passing on some of those yields to the users?
Gotcha. And just to repeat and make sure I understood your question, it's around, Circle gained some of the, money through investing and getting some of the yield. Is there some idea around sharing some of that yield with customers?
Correct.
Is that the question? Yeah, that's a good question. I think that, that's something that, I'm not the only product person on the team, and there's other, talks and whatnot happening at the company. It's something that I think that, is being discussed, and there's no change, at this time. But, what we're focused on, or what I know that myself and the team is focused on, is those utility use cases. So how do we make USDC and ERC more accessible? How do we make it more useful? And I think there's going to be other ways where making that utility for institutions or working with our partners to see how that can pass down to end users. There's other ways that they can derive value, not just from a purely like monetary, like interest way. So, that's what I'm focused on with my, Eng team and on the product side. But I'm sure there's others that have like some ongoing, talks and discussions about that. Oh, and Tina, who's on our team, you want to chime in?
I just wanted to let the room know that some of these decisions aren't always going to be commercially led decisions. So from the perspective of MiCA in Europe, it prevents any issuer from offering yield. So that's a regulatory impediment. That might not be that way forever. These things evolve. But as of June or July of next year, that would be prohibited activity. So that's not up to us.
All right, thank you. Any other questions? No? All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time. Again, I'll be around. If you want to ask questions, I'll be in this corner for, for the next like 5 or 10 minutes. So please reach out. Excited to meet you all, and thank you for your time.